that thing first. Here we go.
We're live.
Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck. There you go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Lee Judges TV. What? No Potsy? He ain't here yet. Agent Divine ain't here yet. I'll tell you a guy who is the main man, Albert. On time, Albert. How are you, my man?
Well, I'm even better after watching the second Super Sunday match, mate. I mean, it's been a very good weekend, mate. Topped off by our rivals being back to form as usual. It's beautiful, Judges.
Beautiful. I tell you, I am going to be really honest. I am not going to lie here, Albert. Like, you know, yesterday, mixed reactions.
Yeah.
You know, got the result, had a couple of beers afterwards, and you know, there was a bit of moaning and groaning going on, and understandably so, like, you know, but ultimately everybody was saying the same thing. Still got the win. That's the most important thing. That's the key thing. We get that, like, yeah. And it was. But come Sunday. I've had a good game today. I've rolled back the years. I'm going to let you into a little secret in a minute. I rolled back the years in football. Played really well today with a new pre-match meal, thanks to Declan Rice, and it works. All right. But then I come home, started watching Spurs. 2-0 up. I'll turn it off, Albert. I'm not going to lie. Turn it off. I thought I'll watch something else. Catch up on something else. Catch up on me Washington Commandos or whatever. That's what I was going to watch. It went, I'll see on my phone, it flashed up 2-1. I thought I'll turn it back over, and it was one of the most enjoyable 45 minutes of my life. I'm not going to lie.
No, it was unbelievable because the first half they actually steamrolled Brighton. I don't know what I think Brighton woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and they're a good footballing side, like, to give credit to Brighton. I know they got a new manager, but he's young and he's dynamic and he's got his ideas. But I mean, the second half, you talk about a contrast or, you know, a different game completely. But I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. To be fair, Brighton gave them a spanking last season, but this season, I mean, I don't know what happened in the second half. You saw the sort of the forlorn figure of Ange on the pitch when it was a beautiful shot. Big up Sky Sports, that is fantastic. I've already been on the old message to the Tottenham YouTube wife, Holly. She's absolutely cursing, dropping C-bombs and the rest of it. But it's beautiful to watch. And I think the giveaway for Lee watching that is, and they spoke about it in the studio on Sky Sports, talking about as footballers, you get cut when you come out to speak after certain games, you feel embarrassed. And you saw that with Ange. I mean, he looked like, I felt sorry for the report. I think her name was Natalie. I can't remember her name, is the surname.
No, she had a tough job. She had a tough job today. She did, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, she had a tough job.
But fair play to her though, because I thought her questions were on point. Because he looked like he's ready to explode, to be honest with you. And he said it himself. It's probably the worst result he's had since his time at Tottenham as manager. It just, you could see it in the body language. It told 1,000 words after that game.
Not once did he look in the camera, did he?
No, not Adrian.
No, right. Looking down, wasn't he? Looking down. Hello, Aid, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah. Hi guys, how you doing?
Adrian,
He just couldn't. He could. It's what we are, mate. That's what I'm going to say. It's what we are, mate. Like, you know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Like, you know.
So you know what? It just reminded me of you, Lee, when we blew it away when we were younger. I knew exactly what was coming for them Spurs players to tear after that game.
Listen, they would have gone. They would have got it in the dressing room after that game. There's no two ways about it. Because I'll tell you what, right? I guarantee you, this is what was said at half time, right? By Big Ange. You know what I mean, mate? This is what he would have said, right? Right. First 10 minutes, keep it tight because they're going to come at us like, you know, weather the storm and then we go on and win this 3 or 4-0. Like, you know, he ain't even got on the dugout yet and it's 2-1. He's unbelievable, like, you know what I mean? So then you know there may be trouble ahead. There certainly was, like, you know what I mean? So listen, it was a great Sunday afternoon. It was great, like, you know.
Judges, not only that. I mean, for the winner to be scored by an ex-Arsenal player, which
yeah, that's what's going to come on. Danny Wells.
We love you, Wells.
Danny Wells. I was cursing him when he missed that one in the first. Well, Beck, you're rubbish. But and I'll tell you, didn't he enjoy it as well? Did he enjoy it as well? Like, you know, yeah, big up, Danny. Big up, Danny.
I'll put him in my fantasy team this weekend as well.
Adrian, he's in mine. He's in mine.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? I've had a couple of beers as well, like this afternoon. I've had a bloody good day today. Like, rolled back the years today, at football. Rolled back the years.
You played, did you?
Yeah, rolled back the years, and
yeah. I rolled back the years, and now I'm paying for it. Now, am I?
Yeah, but just it's been a bloody good day, and I honestly thought it was going to be, you know, Spurs were really going to smash that today, like 2-0, but they didn't. But enough of them. Let's get on with the main dish of the day, like, you know, Arsenal yesterday against Brighton. Cold light of the day. I still back what I said yesterday. I'm still not too happy about it, but the most important thing, without a shadow of Ronnie's coming. Good old Ronnie. I love old Ronnie, like, you know what I mean? Ronnie. You're Ronnie. I say, I hope you brought me back a stick of rock from Brighton, like, from the seaside. I hope you had a very good day down the seaside. That's all I'm saying, Ronnie. But big up you, my man. You're a great guy. Listen. Yeah, I still say that, you know, we shouldn't be in that position, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is to win. And what I really did like, and watching it back, and that was the way when we went a goal down, the response was fantastic. I have to say that, the way we responded, players stepping up. But how do we feel about it? I'll go with you first, Al. But, like, you know, what was your feelings like last night, or just as that whistle went? Was it relief, joy, mixed emotions? I think it was with me. What about yourself?
Well, as you know, judges, I love doing the watch-alongs on your channel, my channel, and yeah, I say it, man. I always say it all the time, and the proper South East London comes out at me when these watch-alongs happen, and it's like going to the theatre with Arsenal. It slowly warms. It starts off probably a little bit mediocre, a little bit slow, but then it's like a light switches. We've had two games. Look at our last two Premier League games, for example. I mean, the second half. I mean, yesterday, for example, no one would have predicted that as an Arsenal fan. It's not through cockiness of thinking we're going to get the 3 points against Southampton and beat them convincingly, because I went for Arsenal to win 3-0. But the way that game panned out, this club, this team, they put us through the mill, man. But that's what we get as football fans. It's insane. I thought with the starting lineup, I have to be honest, because we often talk about squad depth and this player should come in, you know, they're on the bench. And to be fair to Mikel, we started with Jesus and Sterling. And it's not like you've got two academy kids coming in with inexperience, or they played a few minutes. These are seasoned guys, man. But I wasn't too overly impressed, judges. I don't know how you felt, and Adrian, about Sterling and Jesus, particularly Jesus. I thought his decision making yesterday was really poor. There was an incident in the first half where we broke away and got the ball back, for example. and he's got the main passes to hit Saka. That pass was on, even watching that doing the watch along. He's gone for the safe pass with
I remember
Sterling.
the one,
And we've completely lost impetus out of the attack. So it's small things like that. When you haven't got the first goal within the first 15, 20 minutes, like we got against PSG, and I think against obviously Leicester in the first half. They played the back five are playing really, really well. They're sort of blocking the spaces in between Southampton. But we did start off brightly, though. I thought the first 5-10 minutes we were super razor sharp, but we couldn't get the goal. And I thought there was a period, particularly in the first half, let me stop rabbiting on, where we started well, but we kind of, for me, lost our way a little bit, and we kind of were struggling to sort of break down sort of their defensive unit. Going back to you, judges.
No, go on, carry on.
Go on, Adrian. Sorry, come in, mate. Sorry.
No, I agree. I think it was. I mean, when I thought about Southampton, I thought, do you know what? What's he going to do? Because the manager has been barking on, and he all about how he wants his team to play, and I like that. From the Southampton manager, he's been talking about how he wants to play out from the back and he wants to play a possession-based game. But if he'd have come to the Emirates and tried to do that, they would have got destroyed. So they basically did exactly what all the teams will do, bar probably the top 6 maybe that are going to do when they come to the Emirates, where they're just going to make it difficult for us, where they'll put 11 men behind the ball and basically say, come and break us down, isn't it? I mean, I thought Sterling, he did all right. Jesus did all right.
First half, right?
He did all right. But the thing is, it's a classic performance from two players that are who are not first choice players at the moment. And they're probably either trying too hard, and when you try too hard because you want to try and impress, at the end of the day, you end up making poor decisions rather than doing the simple stuff that makes you the players that they are. I mean, I feel sorry for Jesus because he is a quality footballer, and so Sterling. Like you said, I totally agree with you. They're not youngsters; they are seasoned pros. And look, you've got two players there who have won it all, and it's just unfortunate for Jesus with injury. And Sterling having a torrid time at Chelsea. But again, if you go back, who would you rather have, Nelson and Smith Rowe rather than them two? I'd probably say Jesus and Sterling, really, just for the experience they've got of going all the way in competitions and winning trophies. They weren't that bad. It was a dominating performance first half from us, but again, that didn't have that cutting edge to open it up. And I think the problem is, and I said it a couple of times, said it last week and the week before, I wasn't dreading that we were at home for 6 games out of 7, but I knew it wasn't going to be as straightforward as what we are when we play away from home, because we are a different outfit when we play away from home, because teams set up differently when we go and visit their grounds. And when they come to the Emirates, they all do it, don't they? I don't blame them. I mean, there's no way I'm taking my team there and play flamboyant football, because you know exactly what you're going to get. So it is frustrating that we've gone 1-0 down. But I agree with you, Lee. That we've bounced back within 3 minutes. But the only thing I'm slightly worried about is that we're not. This is what the games against us at the Emirates are going to be like, moving
through
the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what worries me is that our better players, with the fixture schedule that we've got, are going to we'll have to stay on the pitch longer, to get us out of a hole here and there, and. What I want to see, like you said last week, Lee, we want to see us blow teams away where we can rest our better players so that they're not getting the minutes. I mean, look, we're already seeing Timber is struggling. Ben White, who never misses football matches, has been out, hasn't he? Odegaard's obviously out injured, which he's never really injured, but it's just like the injury count has piled up a lot this year already, and credit to the team, because we're unbeaten, and we're still winning football matches and finding a way, which is great. So I suppose our squad is stronger than last year, but if we keep playing these games where we are, 1-0 down to teams that we shouldn't be, when we're dominating football matches, and then or it could be 0-0 or 1-1, like that, where we should, with chances in front of goal, where we're not taking those chances. I just don't. It's just minutes in the legs for me with our bigger and stronger players that might hurt us later down the line. I mean, I say it all the time about Saka. I mean, he was excellent again yesterday. He's been brilliant, but the last 2 years, maybe even 3 years, Lee, I think it is, we know he fades in the latter parts of the season because he's played too much, and you kind of want us to blow teams away quickly so we can rest these sort of players. With the Champions League and all that now, it's a lot longer format in the Champions League as well. So we're playing more football. I just worry that unless we put these games to bed early, that we are going to get too many minutes in the legs of our better players, and either have burnout or injury.
That's where these guys have got to step up. That's where Jesus has got to step up. Sterling and all that. I'm letting them off at this moment in time. I'm not going to go too big on them, because I heard a lot of criticism in the stadium yesterday about them and everything like that. But they need games. So like for me now, the international break comes. They're not involved with their national side, so they can work on their fitness, still get that up a little bit, keep training, getting sharp. Next game they play is, I think someone said it in the chat, is Preston away. Yes, because that's what's very, very important. Those games now in the League Cup are very, very important, that the squad players get minutes in their legs, and I also think that when we play Shakhtar, a game like that, I like to see Jesus and Sterling in that game as well. Get more minutes in their legs, get the opportunities, give a couple of the players a rest, and then of course we've got Liverpool. The big guns come back, and then the next game again, rest again, and go from there. Like, we've got some really, really tough games coming up. And I think that, the likes of Jesus and Sterling, you can go into Zinchenko and all that, like Kivior and all that. Like, Kivier's different because he gets now to go over to Poland and will get games. So he keeps ticking the by, which ain't a bad thing for international football for him. But, these players are going to come, like when Zinchenko comes back, I want to see him. But if he's not playing against Preston, he's not no good to us. Not no good to us. Okay, when we play Preston now, like I want to see a back four of. I know you might think I'm silly on this, but I want to see Tomiyasu at right back, Ben White at central defence, right side, Kivior and Zinchenko. That would be the back four that plays against Preston. Ben White, because he's coming back from injury. I want Timber maybe even in the side if he's not being. If he's not available for the game against Bournemouth. But you know what I mean? Like, so there's your back four now to play against Preston. That should be enough to not concede. Then you go on, like Ben White then's getting 90 minutes under his belt, ready for Liverpool. You know what I mean? Like, Ben White then comes in against Liverpool. But like, you need to get these minutes. Then I want to see like Jorginho in the midfield alongside maybe Marina getting some more minutes. And then you look at like playing Wanyeri. All of a sudden, that's a strong side, guys. You know what I mean? And
well,
up front,
it's a perfect game for Odegaard, isn't it? If he's fit to come back.
Well, I don't think he'll be still quite. You know what I mean? I reckon he's still a way off. Like Miles Skilly, another one that can come in that defence, maybe in play, and maybe Zinchenko can play up in midfield. See what he can do in midfield. You know what I mean? Like, look at getting those players in there, and then you go again. But I think it's very, very important that we go deep into domestic cups, using our squad, so these players have got minutes to come in. So when they come back, as you well know, Aid, it's easier to come into a defence and defend than it is for a forward to get, without no minutes and no whatever. So I think that's very, very important that they get that in there. I felt sorry for Jesus yesterday. Nowhere near the same player as he was. And I go back to Nottingham Forest in January. He wins the second game there. Then he picks up another injury and it's not. But then Kai Havertz has gone up front and he's made a massive, massive difference to this football club. Massive difference to this football club. Again yesterday, superb. And then what's King Kai go and do? He pulls out of the German national squad. Just to make you know what I mean? This is a guy I'm starting to fall in love with big time.
You're there, judges. Yeah, you're there at that point now.
I am there at that point that 29 King Kai is coming on the old shirt if I get one, like, you know. I just like what his attitude. Listen, we're 1-0 down. We need a bit of magic. You're looking at your big boys to do it. Always, whoever it be, Henry's, your Bergkamps of the past, Saka you're looking at in this time. And then it was his magic that got us the goal. It was a lovely ball from Saka, intercepted, but there was a lot of work for him to do after that, and he done it fantastically well. Aaron Ramsdale had a good game. Had to be a good finish to beat him, and my God, it was a good finish to beat him. Like, you know, but I think that Kai Havertz and particularly yesterday for me, Saka really turned up when it mattered. Them two really are becoming very, very important to us, and I like that he made changes. I think that he had to do. Not all of them I agreed with. I don't think Thomas Partey should ever be seen as a right back, in my opinion. Got away with it, but you know that's how it is. And you know, I feel a little bit. I'm going to be really honest. I felt a little bit sorry for Trossard to be rested. You know, I wasn't involved in international football last one. I don't think he needed to be rested really, but like what he done, come on and proved it. Like, you know, and you know, I've got football prizes to thank. They put in you know, the Martinelli shirt this week, like, and look what he done. You know, come on and was outstanding. And he's hit a bit of confidence, guys. You know, and I think that's very, very important. That, you know, Gabby, unfortunately, has been called up for Brazil. But, you know, this is what you want. Players now doing very, very well. I was going to mention Ricardo. Don't worry about Enzo. I'm going to mention Ricardo, Calafiori as well. Played really, really well yet. Not convinced he's a left back, by the way, guys, with some of his positional sense and everything like that. But as a proper player.
Yeah, now, judges, you made some good points about, firstly, about the squad depth, because I actually think if you looking at sort of the Arsenal bench, and just say if everybody's fit, for example, you have got better options there. And I think the way the Carabao Cup draw turned out, I thought that was bloody perfect for us, to be honest with you. If you look at some of the ties that have been made, we've got a massive opportunity to put some of these guys in the way to Preston. That's the first thing. We know in regards to sort of talking about Kai and Bukayo Saka, I'll start with Kai Havertz first. I think what he's done, going back to sort of the turn of 2024 and coming into his present season, was it 7 games on the bounce, scoring at the Emirates, the same as Van Persie, I think it is. That's phenomenal. For a guy that he's not an out-and-out 9, but he plays in that corridor and that pocket of space where he can come deep. And most importantly, what he does give Arsenal, and I said this probably after the Community Shield game we played Man City the season before last, is when you look at the way Arsenal were playing in terms of their football and their style, we weren't a side that was direct. Let's be really, really honest. We weren't a side that got balls into the box. We didn't even do it when Giroud was at the club because we didn't play to his strengths. But Kai gives us that ability to have a plan B and a plan C. And yeah, his finish yesterday was superb. Absolutely brilliant. He was a Trojan against Spurs away. He gives us, like I said, that aerial threat. And we are a big side as well, by the way. Marino is 6'2". Calafiori 6'2", 6'3". You know, obviously Gabriel and Saliba are not exactly midgets at the back. So we've got a really physically imposing side. So yeah, Kai Havertz has been superb. And what you want is, yes, you've got your talisman in Bukayo Saka, who I think, by the way, I don't know, it'd be interesting to know what you think, judges and Adrian and the guys in the chat. And I mentioned this to a few guys. Giving him the captaincy was a masterstroke. Absolutely. And it needs to be made more of, because he's been our talisman for about 4 seasons. His goal contributions has been spoken about in the last 24 hours. Was it the most goal involvements across all 5 leagues in Europe? That's not by accident. He's producing these numbers week in, week out, domestically and internationally. And I'll leave rival fans to cry and moan and complain and talk about world class and this and that. He's performing at a level which is above elite. It's as simple as that. That's not a thing of being biased. I think behind closed doors and crying behind their curtains in terms of rival fans, they know the truth as well. You don't play at the level that he's playing at and turn your nose up at it. He's been phenomenal. And giving him the captaincy, as I mentioned, has been a masterstroke, because what it does with that is you're giving him more responsibility, and he's showing more leadership qualities, and he's showing a bit of bite as well. Listen, that didn't go unnoticed against Tottenham away when Timber was having a scrap. Saka was in there. He's getting that side to his game. Yeah. He's not the kid on the inflatable anymore. He's got that side to his game now, and I like that. And yeah, captain performance from him yesterday. But Kai Havertz, listen, no one thought this would turn out the way it's turned out, the way he's playing at the moment. But if you can have somebody in the class of Saka who's your go-to talisman, and I'm not even talking about when Martin Odegaard comes back into the team, when Mikel Moreno settles into the team. If you've got a guy like Havertz who can contribute in the way that he does, bringing players into the game and being actually an asset in terms of from a defensive point of view, which we're good at anyway, that's going to be a massive plus going forward. So I know I'm with your judges in terms of how you felt after the game, because it's hard because you're playing against two promoted sides where we're at home and you're expecting to, maybe steamroll or be a bit more convincing. But if you look across the Premier League, if you're going to be really, really honest, I saw clips of the Fulham game. They were excellent yesterday against Man City, by the way. And some of the games, you're going to see some shock results this year and this season in the Premier League, where you think there's going to be bankers for home wins or away wins, and teams are really setting up really, really tough against you. And as Adrian mentioned, we're not going to come up against many teams that are going to come out and play against us, particularly when it comes to the Emirates. So listen, we've got some positives. Tomiyasu coming back, which is a positive. Mikel Moreno's obviously had a good recovery, and listen, there's some positives to look forward to. And then, quickly about Calafiori, Lee, before I come to sort of stop talking and waffling. It's an interesting one. I see a lot of people talk about him. He's very swashbuckling. He likes to get forward. You find him in areas of the pitch. You think to yourself, like, what's he doing there in terms of sort of maybe an inverted role or being further forward? It'd be interesting to know what the dialogue and the discussion is between him and Mikel Arteta, how he sees him going forward. But what the one positive about him is, bloody hell, he's a threat from set piece corners. He's in there with Gabriel up there, and obviously got a great goal against Man City a few weeks ago. But he just needs, for me, with him, it's fine tooth combing with him. Let him have his season in England first, develop and get better, and relationships within the playing setup that's there. But he'll come good for us. Listen, he's a bit raw around the edges sometimes, but listen, he's our left back, and trust me, there's more to come from him.
Listen, I like him, Albert, and I think that at the end of it, I think that he's probably like more of a central defender and being converted a little bit like Ben White has, and I think that he will be okay in there. I think that with Ben White as well. I think that we've missed Ben White the last few games. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a big fan of his, So, and I think when he was playing right back, no one ever thought that he would probably be the right back, but has come in and showed that he can play in that position and do it really, really well. So it'd be interesting to see what can go from there. One of the things that I think about the game, and I was a little bit raw about it, a little bit. Man City don't give away chances at home, do they? And so anyway, I sat down and watched Manchester City. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah,
could not believe what I was seeing. So. Adi, going on to you, Manchester City are conceding chances, and everybody's still saying, oh, well, they're still. And I know Fulham are a different side, they're not a championship side, but they could have easily lost that game yesterday against Fulham and dropped points like we dropped against Fulham last season. So you've got to be wary of every team. I know, talking to somebody earlier on was saying, you can't, and we're all guilty of this because you have to give a prediction. One of the things you have to do, everybody asks for your prediction before a game. And mine was 3-0, the same as you as Albert. But you can't expect to win every game 4 or 5-0, in the Premier League. And what happens is you get these teams come in and prove it that it's a difficult game wherever you play, wherever you go and play. Fulham caused problems to Manchester City. Crystal Palace, I felt could have probably got something from Liverpool yesterday, like, if I'll be really honest. So there's no easy games, and our friends down the road, you know what I mean, like who were superb in the first half. As soon as they put their foot off the gas, if you want to say it like that, got found out. So I'll ask the question, you know what I mean? Other teams are conceding, Manchester City were fortunate. We was perhaps a little bit fortunate. No one's going to be perfect, are they?
No, of course not. I mean, the Premier League, that's why it's the best league in the world, isn't it? Anyone can beat anyone. If you're sitting bottom of the league, and you can beat top of the league, if it's your day. This is why we love the Premier League, but obviously being an Arsenal fan, what we don't want is games like that every week at home. It's not as if they're tough games, because we are dominating games, like pretty much for the whole 95 minutes that we're playing. It's just putting teams to bed, isn't it? Maybe a little bit earlier than what we do. But again, I know, and I was listening to Talk Sport, and Jamie O'Hara, as much as an absolute tross that he comes out with sometimes, he come out with quite a good point. He said, look, a Premier League football match is 95 minutes long. So whether you score in the first minute or whether you win it in the 95th, it's still part of the game. And I actually agree with him on that point. So it's just, you kind of like, I agree with Albert, what he said. It kind of puts you as a fan through the mill, where it might be exciting for you on the day, but actually, we want a few games where all that, where we can get players rested and our squad players come in and get the minutes that they need. I mean, just going back to your point, Albert, I totally 100% agree with what you said. If you go back to the Arsene Wenger days in the when we were going back in the Carabao Cup, like the whole team was youngsters, wasn't it? And it had to be youngsters because we didn't have the squad depth. And I agree with you, Lee, about going deep into the cup competitions, because it is important for our squad players. They're not squad players; they're first team players, aren't they now?
Yeah, to get the
that they need those minutes to come in and make a difference. Look, like Jesus and Sterling, they did right yesterday. And we all know that when teams come to the Emirates and make it difficult for us, the first 60 minutes, it was like when you played in the Spartan Premier League with St Mags as a manager, you got a bollock and buy it for 60, 70 minutes before you get your joy. And the thing is, you've got to be like Superman fit as a team to hold out teams like Arsenal, because when you're playing a possession-based game and the other team are having to run a lot more than what you're doing, you actually do eventually grind them down. And that's what we're seeing with Arsenal. We are grinding teams down, and we're winning games. But I just wanted to see us win a game comfortably. And then, again, the likes of Jesus and Sterling haven't got that pressure when they do start in Premier League games to perform. But no, I totally agree. Every Premier League game that you play is tough. It's really difficult,
Adrian, it's a good point, because the thing is, when I was doing the What's Wrong yesterday, it's sometimes because you're so immersed in it and you're doing it and you live in the moment. And when it went to halftime, I thought to myself, we didn't really work their goalkeeper, for the amount of position that we had. I think we had no shots on target. I think, or was it one on target? But it just goes to show teams are making it so hard. Well, just if you watch, not even just Arsenal games, when you watch Premier League football, most of the teams, they're not coming out to play because they know that they cannot compete with teams at a footballing level. I mean, even fair play to Russell Martin. He might still lose his job with the way they're talking down at Southampton, because he's come up from the Championship and said, you know what, we're going to play out from the back. Even a couple of the goals that we scored, I thought, I can see why they've only got 1 point in 7. Because you're going to come to the Emirates and try and play that type of football, of course you're going to get punished. But yeah, it's very difficult. And it's only when I noticed that at halftime, I thought, for the amount of possession that we have, and we do have a lot of possession, not just at home, but away from home. we didn't have no shots on target. I thought, oh, God, like we got to give Southampton a little bit of credit. They put their bodies on the line that first half. They blocked everything.
No, I agree with you. You know, I think Southampton, you know, I watched them against Bournemouth. They was a completely different side. Like, you know, I also think with Arsenal that maybe because you've got Jesus on there and you've got Sterling in there and a little bit of a difference in midfield with Jorginho, maybe they're not quite in the pace of it as crisp as the other guys would be. But, you know, but the other side of it is that they've had to work hard to keep in it, and then you bring on the fresh legs, and that's what happens. And you know, I think you've got to give Southampton a bit of credit, but we should never be put in that position in my mind. Listen, a lot of people, and I'm not saying it winds me up or gives me the ump and all that, but a lot of people are saying sell Jesus and things like that. And you know, like, I've put a couple of super chats. Very, very important what they're saying here, like, you know. Unfortunately, for whatever Jesus' quality he has played 58 games of a possible 83 Premier League games for a return of 16 goals. For a number 9, that's not good enough, right? I get that, right? But when he before he was injured, he wasn't scoring great goals, but he was. Do you remember? I remember the last game he played before he went to the World Cup was Wolves away. We won 2-0. Odegaard scored both. Yeah. He was sensational in that game, creating everything like that. That's how he's got to get back to. And I think that we're not giving him enough time. He's been injured for a while, boys, playing with injuries. Had 3 operations on that knee. I think realistically, you just give him a little bit of time, see if he can work his way through it. If he can't by the end of the season, then or even in January, then make that call. Exactly that, like, you know what I mean? So and I think that's it there. Like, this is a great thing as well, because a lot of people say about the defence and question the defence, like, you know what I mean? Southampton game is a story of this team. If you don't finish our chances, our defence is put under pressure and we struggle to get results at home. I do think that's a fantastic point, because I do think at times, because we can see goals. It's always like goals and whatever, like, you know, are conceded and things like that, like, you know. So I'm going to try and get Dan in there. Like, I don't know if I can get Dan. Can you put yourself in or not?
You could do it, judges. Good. Add him in the street. Good, right. You could do it, mate.
I can't get down there. Hold on, I got removed now. Like, hold on a minute. What's going on?
No, I'll keep talking, people. But
no, don't, because the judge can do things. All right.
There we go.
I'm back. Well done, Lee. I'm impressed, man. I couldn't get the code in time. I'm so sorry I'm late, man, because
no worries.
That was a mad show.
Yeah,
it was never going to end on time.
Yeah, I've heard Potsy. I've heard, mate, on the grapevine.
How's Deji, Potsy? I was watching.
Deji ain't very happy. Deji's not happy. Lawless is getting cocky because he's finally beaten Ipswich 4-1. D is in the mud because Palace still haven't won, and Don can't beat Nottingham Forest 10 men. But apparently Chelsea are better than Arsenal and are in a title race. So it was a good show, man. It was lit. But I've only just come off, mate.
I'll tell you what's a great thing. Like, a couple of lads are West Ham fans in the football team. Like, yeah, I mean, they got their West Ham shirts on. They're beating Ipswich. You know what I mean? At home, it's you know what I mean. You have to laugh. You do have to laugh. You know,
it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. But they're all giving it to me over there. You know, there's only D actually. Big up to D sticking up for us, saying like Don's going in on Arsenal, saying Arsenal don't look great. They've got dodgy against Southampton. They only score set piece goals, and Chelsea's attack is better, and they're playing better football. Man, I'd rather be Arsenal than Chelsea. Don, sorry.
No one.
Listen, we're all right. You know what I mean? Let's get it right. We're all right. Like, you know what I mean? We're just talking fun enough about Jesus, Dan, really. I think that, you know, everybody's saying, "Oh, sell." I get all of that, like, but I still think that, you know, he deserves a little bit more time. He's come back from, you know, horrendous injuries, and he is now not our first choice striker. That's it. He is a squad player now, and I think like Sterling has been bought for that as well. But these guys need to improve. I do think there's a thing about Arsenal as well. That, you know, we don't defend. I was definitely on that because we conceded a goal, but we do concede goals as well. Like, you know what I mean? We do. You know, so I think that we should. highlight that as well. We do miss a lot of chances at home. You know, we lost to West Ham because we missed a lot of chances. We lost to Villa because we didn't take our chances. We should have been 2 or 3-0 up before we did concede. Probably, like, if I'd be really honest, maybe we should have been 1 or 2-0 up against Southampton before we concede. So there is a little bit of that, Dan, like, you know what I mean? A little bit of it on both ends of the scale,
Yeah.
really.
Well, conceding goals at home, I can only put it down to the fact that we're trying to entertain, get behind the fans, make it more attractive. And I just believe there's more lapse of concentration. We never go into that game being more compact. I think we go into the away games believing that keep a clean sheet and we've got a chance because we'll score. I think at home it's about being a lot more expressive, being attractive, playing an attacking style of play, being more expressive and have more flair. And that, I think, sometimes does give us a lapse in concentration. Let's have it right. We shouldn't really be conceding goals against Leicester or Southampton. We certainly should be going 2-2 with a couple of minutes left and 1-0 down. That's for sure. Not at home. And I think that there has been little murmurings of, last season West Ham, last season Fulham, last season Villa. I don't want that to creep back in. Now, at the moment, they're not, because the results are all that matters. But for me, I wasn't impressed in the first half yesterday. And I've got to say, Lee, I was a massive fan of rotation, but that team ain't good enough, mate, because it can't beat Southampton. So when I look at Sterling and Jesus, I honestly believe this is the last season we're going to see Jesus in an Arsenal shirt. And I'll go as far as saying I think he's been a flop. £50 million. The guy's injured most of the time. And Lacazette's probably doing better than this guy. So I look at it and I think, is it a massive upgrade on what we've got? Now, I think he's better than flinging Eddie on, don't get me wrong. And I think he brings a lot in terms of his skill and technical ability. But I was so disappointed with him, and I have been this season. And Sterling, I mean, he had one of the worst couple of cameos I've seen in a long time. And yesterday, he couldn't let anything happen. I just think these two, they need game time. I'm not going to sit there and say they're washed and they're done, but they've really got to up their performances because they're doing nothing at the moment to make Arteta go, cool, this is brilliant. I mean, Saka can get a rest now. Look at Sterling banging him in, and I don't need Havertz as a 9 every game. Jesus is killing it. We had to put Havertz in the number 9 yesterday. Otherwise, we wouldn't have won the game, mate. Havertz was awful in the first half because he's playing in midfield. Why does he keep doing this? Up top, he has to play. He has to be our 9 now. And he brings so much more to the game. And I thought he was one of our best players in the end, playing as the 9. But in the midfield, it's just poor, bruv. So, look, I want to see Havertz playing in the 9. I don't want to see him drop. I want to see Declan Rice playing in the 6. I don't want to see him in the 8. It don't work for me. So they're the two positions I think are absolute definite starters. Marino coming into the mix, I think, will allow Rice to play more as a 6. We've got Party that can get a rest in. I don't want to see him playing at right back, although I thought he was all right, to be fair, yesterday. But for me, I think when we get into it, like, let's be real, Havertz needs to be our number 9. I don't have any faith other than him up top at the moment. And I never thought I'd say that, Lee. I never thought I would.
No, I get it. I believe if you're going to rotate, and I said if you're going to rotate, you're going to rotate Havertz out of it, then, you know, for me, why put him in midfield? You could have played Wanyeri in there, like, you know. And the thing with Havertz yesterday, I didn't think he was bad in midfield. What he done was he just dropped out, picked up the ball, and just pushed it along to Saka or whoever, or putting in crosses for Jesus when you wanted him in there on crosses, like, you know. Couldn't Wanyeri do what he was doing? I think so. Like, you know, then you see today that he's pulled out of the Germany game. Now I don't know.
That's dark arts. That's got to be dark arts.
I hope to think that it is, but you know, it'd have been a lot easier to leave him out if he'd have not played him yesterday or whatever, like, you know. But listen, I think that I think that the rotation thing is something that we need to do. But again, Mikel got away with it, didn't he? I think you have to say that, like, you know, he did. And the one good thing about it, Dan, and I echo what you're saying and everything, but the one good thing is we went 1-0 down and there was a reaction, brought the subs on. Martinelli, by the way, impressed when he come on. Really, really impressed. Forget about his goal, but he looked like he's got his confidence back a little bit. And I think that little cameo of him or whatever it was would have really given him a confidence boost because, you know, it's 1-1. If we just scored and still Arteta went, this is Gabby, get on there and get me the winner, like, you know. And he went on there, got the winner, and that would have been a really, really good thing. And I'm very, very impressed with his cameo. I think Trossard, you know, he's becoming like Arteta, very, very fortunate. He made 2 mess ups and they created goals in like how that one went to Saka, I don't know. Like it completely messed up. You know what I mean? And there was another one when he put Martinelli. We should put Martinelli through about 10 seconds early, but he didn't. But listen, they all contributed and all made it a good performance. Well, not a good performance, but we got the win in the end. Like,
got the win.
And
do you know what, Lee? Just quickly on Martinelli, right? And I said this yesterday. That was one of the better games he's had. It looked like his old self. I thought his mentality was there. His attitude looked better. But didn't you think it was coincidental that Calafiori and Marino were playing on that left 8 position? Rice was in the 6, and then Havertz was in the 9, and all of a sudden Martinelli's playing better. He's got a left foot
higher up the pitch.
Exactly, bro.
He's high, 20, 30 yards higher up the pitch. I saw an analysis. I think it was on Sky News, actually. Sky Sports News, apologies. And they did a heat map with Calafiori in there, and he was 30 yards higher up the pitch, which is where he's more dangerous. And the thing is, we love his work rate, don't we? I mean, his defensive work is outstanding, and everyone has been getting on his back how he's not been good enough. But if you look at it properly, like again, we talk about being, pieces of puzzles putting together, don't you? And you're spot on, Dan, when you talk about Marino coming in. It's just made it so much easier for him to stay higher and be more dangerous. And he hasn't got to worry about that defensive duty. And when you haven't got to worry about that, you're looking forward all the time. And he looks back. I'm going to be really brave and say this. Since we talked about when Xhaka went, he's never really had a natural left-footed left back. Since obviously Shinchenko's form dipped, Kivior was coming in, so I'm hoping for him that what happens on the right hand side with Saka and White and Odegaard, it will happen on the left hand side as well. And when that happens, and if it does happen, then Arsenal will be very difficult to stop, because teams. You tend to get teams will double up on the right hand side against Saka and make it really difficult. But Saka being that good,
they always do it.
Yeah, but he's that good. He's able to still might not have a great game because he's not got much room, but he'll produce something. If we do get Martinelli back to where he was a couple of years ago, which I think is starting to happen because everything in behind him is fitting into place now, then we will be difficult to stop. But it's good for him. And
the left side was as good as the right side yesterday, in my opinion. I know most of the stuff come from the right side again, as it always does from Saka, but I thought we were brilliant on the left, and that's the first time I can say that, if I'm honest. I always felt, even with Trossard, it was like, wow, Trossard's managed to score and make something out of nothing. But yesterday, for the first time, we actually didn't look lopsided. We looked pretty balanced in that second half. And I think now, moving forward, when we've got games like Liverpool, I expect to see Marino playing in that 8 with Rice at the 6, Calafiori left, Timber back at right, or Ben White, whoever it be. And actually, I'm really looking forward to seeing that, because when Odegaard gets back, guys, we've got pretty much our full side. And I think Odegaard in that 10, I know we've actually coped well without him, and that's a big compliment to Wanyeri and Trossard and the guys. But I think that this side is actually going to look very, very good. And we're not going to be this Tony Pulis M&S that everyone keeps talking about, which is doing my head in, by the way. So look,
let it happen, Dan. Let it happen. It's lovely.
Well, you know what's funny? They were just all saying it now. The reason I'm hot from it is because they were just all giving it to me about it now. Well, it's Tony Pulis M&S. Why is our goal difference the same as Man City's in? Because I'll take that.
Listen,
what to play this football and be the same goal difference as Man City.
Ignore
all they're doing is just
highlighting
they're highlighting their own deficiencies. You know what I mean? That's all they're doing. And let them bring it on. I'm with you on this, Dan, because I think when we come against Liverpool and probably against Bournemouth, we'll be attacking down the left and also attacking down the right. I think you're dead right what you're saying about Tommy Asu played most of the season at left back last season, not left back. Calafiori coming in there, you've got Shinchenko to come back in there if you want to go down that route. I also think you've got Miles Skelly that can play there and do a very, very good job. And as people have said in the chat, a one and only Kieran Tierney can play there as well, you know what I mean? So, listen, you're paying him a wage, so why wouldn't you involve him once he's fit, and certainly against Preston, I expect him to be somewhere along in the squad, and I think someone just said you won't see him again. I'll be damn well not happy if he's not involved against Preston, because paying his wages, why wouldn't you wouldn't have him there? So I think that that's a good feel. Like Martinelli's doing fantastically well at the moment. Really enjoying what I'm seeing from him. He's really turned it around.
Judges, you know what's helped with Martinelli? I mean, Dan's touching it and Adrian's touching it, because you have that partnership and development down our right hand side, and you saw it actually in the league game against Leicester. Martinelli saw a lot of the ball to the point that I've not seen him have a lot of the ball like that for ages at the Emirates, or probably in any game that he started. And if he can have that relationship with Calafiore, and obviously when Mika Moreno starts, it'd be perfect for him. And what it's done with him not starting games is it's given him that he should be chomping at the bit, to be honest with you, because even if he believes he should be in the team, which I don't think he should be starting personally, I just think it gives him that carrot to want to get back into the team. And also, yes, it was a great cross by Bukayo Saka, and it was world class, and I'm going to say that. But the timing of the run from Martinelli was exceptional, and that's what you want your wingers to do on opposite flanks, is to come in from the touchline, to time your runs, and to make them in integral movements into the box. But what Saka and Martinelli both do very, very well, obviously Arsenal defensively, I think Saka spoke about it post-match after, I think it might have been a Champions League game, or it might have been a league game, I can't remember. They don't half do their defensive duties, both him and Martinelli. And that absolutely is going to help with your back four, back five unit. So they're not only great going forward, and I think Jamie Carragher mentioned it on CBS, to get a winger that does the stuff at the business end of the pitch and also helps you as a fullback, it's a dream come true for fullback. So Arsenal probably delight in that with the likes of Ben White and Timber. So yeah, long may it continue, Martinelli. Listen, they talk about confidence in football, and it's the very fine line, very, very fine line. Because I don't think there's too much confidence coming out of a Man United dressing room at the moment. Let's be honest.
No, listen, the end of it, like, you know, I think that what we've got to look on and be positive about things is that we've had some very, very difficult games, some real tough games away from home. Without some of our better players, they're all coming back. Hopefully, like, we get over the international break for it. And we've then got a real run of with our top teams, some things to look forward to. Like, we can improve, you know. I remember some people turning around and going, you ain't got no injuries. Wait until you get injuries. Let's see how well you do then. Like, well, we've had injuries and we've played top teams and we've still got results. You know what I mean? So the Tony Pulis thing, they can go on about that, like, and they can go on that, like, you know. And how a West Ham fan can talk about Arsenal in the same breath at this moment in time is ridiculous. Ridiculous. They've had more managers than Tottenham Hotspur. And I'll tell you what, their next game is Spurs. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Let's see how you play against them, like, because you've had one winning eights, because you will get slapped up against them. So listen, we're doing all right. As you say, Man United are down there in 40. They 14th, are they?
Yeah.
Man United. Not easy to win at Villa Park, is it? And I'll tell you something else. The old Spurs fans today giving it large to me. Giving it large in the showers, doing the old shower, like they're giving it large, you know what I mean? Like 5-game unbeaten run. And I hit them with it. Yeah, it's a long old run that is. Well, I can't remember. Who was the last team to beat you? Well, they soon went out. I was on the shower on my own, sharing it on my own. I had all the shower to myself. Horrible nuts.
They are horrible lot.
They are horrible nuts.
They
are, mate. And today was hilarious. I know you've already spoken about it, but my goodness, that was embarrassing from Postecoglou. But
great.
Look, I do think we're in a good position. I will say that. I don't think we've particularly got out of like second gear yet, Arsenal. I will say that.
I don't think we have.
You know, because we've had to make do without some injuries. We've had to go through some hard fixtures away from home. We've had to go on a run where people thought we were going to drop points. And now we've come through it. Rival fans don't like it. Oh, okay, we'll just tell them that they're playing dark arts. Can't get past that one. Okay, we'll just say that they're just defensive then. We'll just call them a Tony Pulis side. I think we're rattling them, man. I think we're rattling people.
It tells you that, doesn't it? When they're doing that, it tells you.
Of course.
That
Man City, listen, man, Fulham were unlucky against Man City.
Yeah, we play about that. By the way, you know what I mean? We're Tony Pulis. Let's say like that. I mean, like, our last 3 home games, 5-4-3. Like Ted Rogers, aren't we? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Our next 2 Premier League games, though, it's gonna be very, very different. Stylistically, the teams we're coming up against in terms of Bournemouth and Liverpool, because Liverpool at the top end of the pitch, if we don't defend properly, it's going to be a very, very long afternoon, man. Because they're
a great game, that boys. Be a great game because they're coming to attack us. But we
won't need. I promise you now. I'll put bottom dollar that we won't need to defend as much against Liverpool because they won't sit back and we will have a lot more room around the pitch than what we have had against.
It'd be a very good open game. That's what you mean.
Do you know what, boys, right? I heard this today because I'm sorry to love you and leave you short, but I've got my bloody Highbury squad in a minute with Sophie. So I'll leave you with this, right? Judges might get this, actually, because he was at the game. When was the last time Arsenal conceded 3 goals?
I know.
Have a guess. When do you reckon it was? It shocked me. I was surprised at how long it's been since we've conceded 3 goals. Conceded 2 before, obviously the other week at Man City, but 3 goals.
Was it a certain team we played yesterday?
No, it wasn't the team we played yesterday.
So Southampton.
It was last season. It was last season, but it was in a game where we won it in the last minute 4-3.
Oh, yes.
Luton. Yeah. I don't know if that's true. I haven't looked it up.
Yeah, I think you're right. 4-3.
I saw it in the chat today. I thought it was pretty impressive.
4-3. Right, listen, before we go, just one, I've got to ask this question, right? I know it's a serious question, right? Because Dan's got to go, right? So I want you to have a little think about it, like, you know, people in the chat as well, right? You ready for it? It's very important, right? Are we watching Match of the Day tonight?
Yes,
100%.
What was that stat? It's Tottenham are the first team in Premier League history to lose. They've gone into double figures, losing 10 games.
Yeah.
With a 2-goal head. Was it 2-goal head start? Wow.
10. Let's look
clear.
No.
I would have loved to have been a fly in the change rooms after that game.
Glenn Oldham's shirt number, is it number 10? Was he number 10 for Spurs? Was he?
Man, I couldn't believe when I see that stat. Just quickly, Sue just put in another super chat as well, man. I don't want to miss that. I don't know if you can see it. I can't get it up, Lee, but it's the last super chat from Sue.
Let me get it up. Hold on.
I asked for rotation, but Kai in midfield doesn't work. I would have put Trossard on the 9, Jesus and Sterling on the wings, and then Wanyeri in the 10. I was surprised when we saw rotation and we didn't see Wanyeri yesterday. I have to say that. But you know, is one of those, man. But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to get that in before you close, Lee. Sorry.
No worries. Like this. Hold on. Hold on.
Lee, I ain't gonna lie. Spurs have obviously been beaten today. As much as I love doing these shows, I cannot wait for this close.
No. Listen, I had a good day today. Like Washington have Commanders have won as well. Like, and I'll leave you on this fault.
Good, Josh.
I'll leave you on this fault.
Golly.
When you're 2-0 up and you go in for your half-time cup of tea, don't take the mickey. Don't think it's done. Because you never know. There's always a Brighton out there. Happy holidays. Enjoy the seaside. I hope you had a nice trip by the coast. And listen, have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. We're all off to watch Match of the Day.
Yeah, you sound like Jerry Springer. I'm waiting for them to look after each other and everybody else comment whatever he says.
And if you have got a Spurs fan and one of them your friends, I've got a brother who's a Spurs fan.
I've got plenty of them.
You've got mates, give them a little phone call just to see that they're okay. Good night.
Yeah.